We finally found where God lives. Elon Musk drops this bombshell, and it's got everyone talking. You know how Elon is with his wild statements, but this time he might be onto something big. It's like spotting a glimmer in the cosmos that everyone thinks is just a mirage. NASA discovered a star called Arendelle, and it's not your average celestial body. This ancient, incredibly bright star has scientists scratching their heads and asking some mind-bending questions. Could this actually be heaven? We're about to dive into the science and speculation behind this cosmic mystery, and trust me, it's gonna blow your mind. Alright, so Elon Musk says he found God's address. Yeah, I know, sounds like classic Elon being Elon, right? But hold up, let's take a closer look at what he actually said and when he said it. It all started with a tweet. Elon wrote, "Just had a mind-blowing conversation with the NASA team. We might have found where God lives. Stay tuned." Now, at first you might think, oh great, Elon's off his rocker again. But here's the thing, when Elon mentions a new NASA discovery, it suddenly makes sense why this tweet stops thumbs in mid-air. So what exactly did NASA find that's got Elon talking about God? Enter Arendelle, the star that's got everyone freaking out, and let me tell you, this isn't your average twinkle twinkle little star. Arendelle is old, like older than your grandma's grandma old. We're talking about a star that's been around since pretty much the beginning of the universe. Scientists estimate it's about 13.5 billion years old, which is just 100 million years younger than the Big Bang itself. That's wild, right? But age isn't the only thing that makes Arendelle special. This star is bright, it's outshining everything else in its galaxy by a factor of millions. It's like someone cranked up the brightness to 11 and then broke off the dial. Now you might be thinking, okay, so it's old and bright, what's the big deal? Well, here's where it gets weird. Arendelle doesn't behave like any other star we've ever seen. For one thing, it doesn't seem to be burning fuel like normal stars do. It's just there, shining away, defying everything we thought we knew about stellar physics. And that's not all. The light coming from Arendelle is different. Scientists have been analyzing its spectral signature, which is basically the star's fingerprint in light. And let me tell you, this fingerprint is like nothing they've ever seen before. It's got elements and patterns that shouldn't exist in nature, at least not according to our current understanding of physics. But here's the kicker. Remember how I said Arendelle is super old? Well, it also looks brand new, fresh out of the cosmic oven new. Stars are supposed to change over time, getting bigger or smaller, hotter or cooler. But Arendelle, it's just chilling, looking the same as it probably did billions of years ago. So now you're probably wondering, what does all this have to do with God? Well, that's where things get really interesting. Some scientists are starting to throw around terms like artificial construct and engineered celestial body. In other words, they're saying Arendelle might not be natural at all. It might be built, and that's where Elon's wild claim starts to make a little more sense. If Arendelle is artificial, who built it and why? Some folks are saying it could be a beacon, a cosmic lighthouse meant to guide something or someone. Others are going even further, suggesting that Arendelle might be some kind of doorway or portal, a gateway to, well, somewhere else. And that's where the whole God's address thing comes in. Because if there is a higher power out there, wouldn't it make sense for them to have some kind of cosmic home base? Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds pretty out there, right? Like something out of a sci-fi movie or a late night conspiracy theory podcast. And you're not wrong. It is out there, way out there, like billions of light years out there. But here's the thing, science is all about exploring the unknown, about questioning what we think we know, and Arendelle, it's forcing us to question everything, our understanding of physics, of the universe, of our place in it. It's all up for grabs now. Speaking of questioning everything, let's talk about what makes a star normal in the first place. Because Arendelle, it's about as far from normal as you can get without entering the twilight zone. What if I told you this cosmic oddball is breaking every rule in the stellar playbook? Alright, so here's the deal with regular stars. They're basically big balls of gas, mostly hydrogen, that burn fuel and shine. Simple, right? They come in different sizes and colors, but they all follow the same basic rules. Our sun, for example, is just your average Joe star, chugging along, doing its thing. But Arendelle, while most stars follow a strict script, Arendelle is improvising its own stellar jazz tune. It's making astronomers lose their minds with its bizarre behavior. First off, let's talk about size. In the cosmic neighborhood where Arendelle hangs out, it's actually on the smaller side. But here's where things get weird. Despite being the little guy, Arendelle is outshining everything around it. And I don't mean it's just a little brighter. This thing is lighting up the sky like it's trying to signal aliens or something. Now you might be thinking, okay, so it's bright, big deal. But trust me, it is a big deal. Arendelle isn't just outshining other stars, it's outshining entire galaxies. Yeah, you heard that right, galaxies. As in collections of billions of stars. One astronomer even said, "We were surprised by how bright it shone in the presence of much larger clusters and galaxies containing billions of stars." But wait, it gets weirder. Remember how I said Arendelle was small? Well, it turns out it's also super hot. Like, way hotter than our sun. We're talking at least 4 times hotter on the surface. And brightness? Forget about it. Arendelle is at least 1,000,000 times brighter than our sun. That puts it in a category called massive B-type stars, which are basically the show-offs of the stellar world. Now, you might be wondering how one little star can shine so bright. Well, it turns out Arendelle has a trick up its sleeve. It's using something called gravitational lensing to boost its brightness. Basically, the gravity from other stuff in space is acting like a giant magnifying glass, making Arendelle look even brighter than it actually is. But even with this cosmic boost, scientists are still scratching their heads. How can one star outshine entire galaxies? It's like a single firefly outshining the Las Vegas Strip from 1,000,000 light years away. Finding Arendelle wasn't easy. Scientists had to use some pretty fancy tech to spot it. They were looking at light patterns, trying to figure out what was causing this super bright spot in space. At first, they probably thought it was a whole bunch of stars clustered together, but nope, turns out it was just one lone star showing off like nobody's business. Oh, and about that name, Arendelle. It means morning star, which is kind of ironic when you think about it. This thing is so bright, it probably makes every other star look like it's still the middle of the night. Now let's talk about how Arendelle came to be. Like all stars, it started out as a bunch of hydrogen gas and dust floating around in space. Over time, this stuff clumped together, got denser and hotter, until eventually, boom, nuclear fusion kicked in and Arendelle was born. But here's the thing, Arendelle isn't some newborn star. It's been around for a long time. We're talking billions of years here, which means it was one of the first stars to form in the universe. Alright, so we've been talking about this ancient star Arendelle for a while now, but here's where things get really wild. Imagine the universe using its own cosmic magnifying glass. That's basically what's happening with our stellar buddy Arendelle. This cosmic phenomenon is called gravitational lensing. It happens when a massive object, like a whole galaxy, bends light from stuff behind it. It's the universe's way of giving us a better view of things that are super far away. Now, this doesn't happen all the time. In fact, it's about as rare as winning the lottery while getting struck by lightning. So picture this effect making one tiny star look like the biggest deal in the universe. That's exactly what's going down with Arendelle. The cosmos has decided to put a spotlight on this one random star, and scientists are losing their minds over it. This gravitational lensing is making Arendelle look way bigger and brighter than it should be. We're talking about a single star outshining entire galaxies. One of the scientists studying Arendelle, Brian Welch, said, "We were unable to come up with an explanation for why the single star was outshining whole galaxies at the moment. That's scientists speak for, we have no freaking clue what's going on here." It's like the universe decided to play a game of Where's Waldo? But instead of Waldo, it's this super bright star, and instead of a crowded beach scene, it's the entire cosmos. And somehow we managed to spot it. It's that rare and that significant. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen gravitational lensing in action. The Hubble Space Telescope has caught glimpses of it before, showing us how massive objects can magnify the light of stuff behind them. But Arendelle? This is next level stuff. So what does all this mean? Why is Arendelle getting the VIP treatment from the cosmos? Well, that's where things start to get a little out there. Some folks are saying it's just a cosmic coincidence, a 1 in a billion chance that everything lined up just right to give us this incredible view. But others, they're not so sure. Think about it. We've got this ancient star that's been around since practically the beginning of time. It's shining brighter than anything else out there, and now the universe itself seems to be helping us see it better. It's almost like something or someone wants us to notice Arendelle. This is where the whole God's address thing starts to make a bit more sense. I mean, If you were trying to leave a cosmic signpost, wouldn't this be a pretty good way to do it? A super old, super bright star that breaks all the rules, and a cosmic magnifying glass to make sure we don't miss it? It's either the universe's biggest coincidence, or something else entirely. But before we go full tinfoil hat mode, let's pump the brakes for a second. We're still dealing with science here, even if it's the kind of science that makes our brains hurt. The fact is, Arendelle is giving us a unique opportunity to study something we've never seen before. It's like having a window into the early universe, and that window just got a whole lot clearer thanks to this gravitational lensing effect. Could the cosmos really be conspiring to spotlight this one enigmatic star? So we've got this ancient cosmic spotlight shining on Arendelle. But here's the real kicker. What if we're watching a star that's already dead? Yeah, we're about to dive into some serious Schrodinger's star territory. Let's talk about what happens to stars when they get old. It's not exactly a graceful retirement. Most stars don't just fade away quietly, they go out with a bang. And when I say bang, I mean a supernova explosion that's so bright it can outshine entire galaxies. Now, remember how old Arendelle is? We're talking about a star that's been around since the universe was in diapers. By all accounts, it should have burned through its fuel and gone boom a long time ago. But here's where things get weird. We're not seeing Arendelle as it is now. We're seeing it as it was 13 billion years ago. You see, light takes time to travel, a lot of time. When you look up at the night sky, you're basically looking at a bunch of baby pictures of stars. Some of those stars might not even exist anymore, but their light is still traveling towards us. It's like getting a postcard from your great-great-grandpa who's been dead for decades. So what does this mean for our cosmic weirdo Arendelle? Well, it's possible we're looking at a celestial ghost, an afterimage that's been traveling through space for billions of years. But here's the kicker. Some scientists aren't so sure. They're wondering if maybe, just maybe, Arendelle is still out there, shining away. If Arendelle is still kicking after all this time, it would break pretty much everything we know about stars. It should have faded long ago, yet its defiant glow telegraphs a mystery that defies cosmic retirement plans. Stars just don't last that long, especially not the big bright ones like Arendelle. You see, bigger stars burn through their fuel much faster than smaller ones. It's like comparing a gas-guzzling monster truck to a hybrid car. According to astronomers Brian Welch and Don Coe, if Arendelle is the size they think it is, it should have lived for less than 10 billion years before going kaboom. But here's where it gets really trippy. The light we're seeing from Arendelle, it's not just bright, it's ridiculously, impossibly bright. We're talking about a single star that's almost as bright as billions of stars put together. It's like someone cranked up the universe's dimmer switch to maximum and then broke off the knob. So what are we looking at here? Is Arendelle some kind of eternal city in the sky, defying the laws of stellar physics? Or is it just a really old light bulb that burned out billions of years ago, and we're just now seeing its last hurrah? This is where Elon's whole "we found where God lives" thing starts to make a weird kind of sense. I mean, if you were going to pick a place for the pearly gates, a super bright, seemingly eternal star that breaks all the rules of physics isn't a bad choice, right? But before we go full ancient aliens here, let's remember that we're dealing with some seriously mind-bending science. If Arendelle really is still alive and kicking out there, it would challenge everything we think we know about how long stars can live. It'd be like finding out that dinosaurs are still roaming around somewhere. It just doesn't fit with what we've observed so far. Alright, so we've been talking about this crazy bright star Arendelle and all the scientific mumbo-jumbo surrounding it. But you know what's even crazier? Some people are looking at this cosmic oddball and seeing heaven. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's dive into this wild ride where the Bible meets the Big Bang. The Bible describes heaven as this incredible place with streets of transparent gold where nothing ever dies or gets sick. It's like the ultimate retirement community, but with better special effects. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Arendelle's got some freaky similarities to this heavenly description. It's impossibly bright and way out of our reach, just like the divine realm is supposed to be. It's as if the cosmos decided to take a page from scripture and and create its own celestial masterpiece. This whole situation is causing quite a stir among both the science nerds and the theology buffs. Some scientists are rolling their eyes, saying it's just a coincidence, but others are scratching their heads, wondering if there might be something more to it. It's like everyone's looking at the same cosmic inkblot test, but seeing totally different things. The religious crowd is split too. Some are getting all excited, thinking Arendelle might be the VIP section where God kicks back and watches over creation. Others are more cautious, probably worried about jumping to conclusions. Meanwhile, the scientists are having their own little debate. Some are sticking to their guns, saying there's gotta be a logical explanation. Others are starting to wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's more to this universe than we thought. Now, let's talk about this morning star business. In the Bible, Christ uses this term to describe himself in the book of Revelation. And wouldn't you know it, Arendelle's got that same nickname. It's adding fuel to the fire for those who think this star is more than just a ball of gas. This whole debate is bringing up some big questions. Can science and religion actually play nice, or are they always gonna be at odds? Arendelle's got people from both camps actually talking to each other, which is pretty wild when you think about it. It's like we're all playing this cosmic game of what if? What if Arendelle is actually some kind of shadow of heaven? What if it's just a dead star that's playing tricks on us? It's got everyone from your local priest to the guy with a PhD in astrophysics scratching their heads. But here's the kicker, we might never actually know what Arendelle really is. It could be Heaven's Porch Light, or it could just be a really weird star. The truth is, it's so far away and so different from anything we've seen before that we're all just taking shots in the dark. Alright, so we've been talking about this crazy bright star Arendelle and all the scientific mumbo jumbo surrounding it. But now, let's circle back to our main man Elon Musk and his wild claim about finding God's cosmic condo. Is this the same guy who's been revolutionizing space travel and electric cars? Or has he finally gone off the deep end? Elon's got a track record that's hard to ignore. When he talks, people listen. And boy, is he talking now. He's dead serious about this God's address thing, and that's got people scratching their heads. Some folks think he's finally cracked under the pressure of being a tech billionaire. I mean, claiming you've found where the big guy upstairs lives is a pretty bold move, even for Elon. But then there's the other camp. These people are looking at Elon's past successes and thinking, hey, maybe this guy's seen something we haven't. Remember when everyone laughed at the idea of reusable rockets? Well, who's laughing now? There's been some chatter about a secret SpaceX mission. Yeah, you heard that right. Secret mission. Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But with Elon, you never know. Some people are speculating that he might be planning to build some kind of super telescope, something way beyond anything we've got right now. And get this, there's even talk that Elon might be planning to visit Arendelle. I know, it sounds crazy. But remember, this is the same guy who's talking about colonizing Mars like it's no big deal. So maybe, just maybe, he's got his sights set on knocking on heaven's door. Literally. But let's take a step back for a second. What's Elon's endgame here? What does he hope to achieve by claiming he's found God's cosmic zip code? Is this just another publicity stunt, or is there something more to it? Some people are saying this ties into Elon's bigger vision for humanity's future in space. You know how he's always talking about making us a multiplanetary species? Well, maybe finding God's house is just the next step in his grand plan. It's like he's not content with just exploring our solar system. He wants to explore the spiritual realm too. But here's where it gets tricky. The scientific community isn't exactly jumping on board with Elon's claims. In fact, a lot of experts are giving him some serious side-eye. They're saying this might be another case of Elon making big promises that he can't really back up. The reactions to Elon's claims about Arendelle are all over the place. Are we witnessing pure genius or the theatrics of a modern showman? It's like he's become this polarizing figure. You either think he's a visionary or a madman with not much middle ground. But here's the kicker. Whether you believe him or not, Elon's got the world's attention. Everyone's talking about Arendelle now. Scientists, religious folks, conspiracy theorists, they're all weighing in. And in a way, maybe that's Elon's real genius. He's got us all looking up at the stars again, wondering what's really out there. So NASA's still peering at Arendelle with their fancy telescopes, including the James Webb, trying to unravel this cosmic mystery. We've got a star acting up, a billionaire tweeting about finding God, and scientists scratching their heads. It's like watching a weird sci-fi movie unfold in real life, but with real consequences for our understanding of the universe. As we continue to explore this celestial enigma, one question remains: could Arendelle be more than just a space oddity? Whether you think it's a cosmic nightlight or an old star having an identity crisis, we want to hear from you. Drop your wildest theories in the comments. Let's keep this cosmic conversation going.